What I noticed while walking through a cemetery alone. I should have turned back the moment I heard my name. Not loud. Not clear. Just a soft whisper behind me, like someone testing if I would respond. But I didn't. I kept walking. The cemetery was not far from my house. I had passed it many times, always from the outside, always in a hurry. People said strange things happened there at night, but I never believed them. That evening, I wasn't even planning to go in. I was just walking, thinking about my life, my worries, my stress. Everything felt too heavy. So when I got to the gate, I stopped. It was slightly open. I don't know why, but something pulled me in. At first, it felt normal. Quiet. Peaceful, even. The sun was already going down, and the sky was turning orange and purple. The wind was soft, brushing past the tall grasses between the graves. Some of the tombstones were old and broken, while others looked fresh. I noticed something immediately. There were too many graves. More than I expected. And they were close together, almost like they were trying to fit in more than the space could hold. I walked slowly, reading the names. Some of them were recent. Some were very old. Then I saw one that made me pause. The date. The person was buried just 2 days ago. But the strange thing was, there were no flowers. No sign that anyone had visited. It looked forgotten already. That gave me a strange feeling. Like whoever was buried there had no one. I moved on. As I walked deeper, the silence became heavier. It wasn't just quiet anymore. It felt like something was pressing on my ears, making it hard to even hear my own footsteps. Then I noticed something else. The air felt colder. Not normal evening cold, this was different. It was like stepping into a room with no life in it. I rubbed my arms and kept walking. That was when I heard it. A faint sound. Footsteps. Behind me. I stopped. The footsteps stopped. I turned quickly. No one. Just rows of graves stretching into the distance. I told myself I was imagining things. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me. So I continued walking. But this time, I listened carefully. And again. I heard it. Step. 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 Matching my movement. I stopped again. Silence. My heart started beating faster. I turned again, slower this time, trying to catch whatever it was. Still nothing. But I felt it. That feeling of not being alone. That feeling that someone, or something, was watching me. I swallowed hard and tried to calm myself down. It's just your mind, I whispered. But deep inside, I knew something was wrong. Then I noticed something that made my stomach twist. The graves I had passed earlier. They didn't look the same anymore. I was sure I had seen a broken tombstone near the path. Now it looked new. Clean. Like it had just been placed there. I frowned and walked closer to it. The name on it. I didn't recognize it. But something about it felt familiar. Too familiar. I stepped back slowly. And that was when I heard it again. My name. This time, clearer. Right behind me. I froze. Every part of my body went still. I could feel my breath getting heavier, my chest rising and falling too fast. I didn't want to turn. But something inside me forced me to. Slowly, slowly. I turned my head. And what I noticed next made me wish I had never stepped into that cemetery at all. I tried to move, but my legs felt heavy, like something was holding them down. My eyes searched the space behind me, expecting to finally see a person, but there was nothing there. Just empty air and rows of silent graves. Still, I could feel it. Something was close. Too close. My heart was beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. I forced myself to take a step forward, then another. The moment I moved, the cold followed me, wrapping around my body like a shadow that refused to leave. I didn't want to run yet. I didn't want to panic. But every instinct inside me was screaming that I should get out. As I walked faster, I noticed something strange on the ground. The path I came in through, it didn't look the same anymore. The small stones I remembered stepping on were gone, replaced by soft, dark soil. My shoes sank slightly with each step. I turned around, trying to trace my way back, but nothing looked familiar. It was like the cemetery had changed while I wasn't looking. The graves seemed closer now, tighter, almost leaning toward me. I swallowed hard and kept moving, trying not to look at the names anymore. But then something caught my eye again. A grave to my left. I didn't want to stop, but I did. Slowly, I turned my head and read it. My breath caught in my throat. The name on the tombstone looked like mine. I blinked quickly, thinking my eyes were playing tricks on me. I stepped closer. The letters became clearer. It was my name. My full name. My hands started shaking. No, no, this is not real, I whispered. But it didn't stop there. Under the name was a date. I stared at it for a long time, trying to understand what I was seeing. It wasn't a past date. It was today's date. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. I stumbled back, almost falling. This is not possible, I said louder now, my voice breaking. And then I heard it again. Not just a whisper this time. A breath. Right beside my ear. Warm. Slow. Like someone was standing so close their lips were almost touching my skin. You came, the voice said softly. I jumped forward, my whole body shaking. I turned quickly, but again, nothing. My mind was racing now. I didn't care about staying calm anymore. I needed to leave. I started walking fast, almost running, not caring where I stepped. But the more I moved, the more the cemetery seemed to stretch. The gate, it was nowhere in sight. I was sure it was just a short distance away, but now it felt like I was trapped in an endless field of graves. The sky had grown darker without me noticing. The last light of the sun was fading, and shadows were growing longer, deeper. And then I noticed something worse. The shadows, they were not all still. Some of them moved when nothing else did. I froze again, staring at one near a tall, crooked tombstone. It shifted slightly, like it was turning toward me. My breathing became uneven. No, no, I muttered, backing away slowly. But as I moved, more shadows began to stretch and twist, sliding across the ground in ways that didn't match anything around them. It was like they were alive. Watching. Waiting. And then, all at once, I heard footsteps again. Not just one. Many. Surrounding me. Closing in. Step. 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 From every direction. I turned in circles, trying to find a way out, but all I saw were graves, and shadows, and the feeling that I was no longer just a visitor in that place. I was part of it now. Then something touched my shoulder. Cold. Heavy. I gasped and spun around, my heart nearly stopping. And for the first time, I saw it. A figure. Standing right in front of me. Not fully clear, not fully solid, but enough to see its shape. Its face looked empty, like it was there but not there at the same time. And yet, I felt like it was staring straight into me. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. More figures began to appear behind it. Faint. Silent. Surrounding me slowly. The air grew colder with each second, and my breath came out in small, shaky clouds. The first figure tilted its head slightly, like it was studying me. Then it raised its hand, and pointed. Not at me. But behind me. I didn't want to look. Every part of me refused. But slowly, I turned my head. And what I noticed next made my blood run completely cold. I didn't want to look. Every part of me refused. But slowly, I turned my head. And what I noticed next made my blood run completely cold. The grave with my name on it was no longer empty. The soil had shifted. Fresh. Loose. Like something had just moved inside it. I stared at it, my eyes wide, my breath completely gone. The ground trembled slightly, just for a moment, then it stopped. Everything went quiet. Too quiet. Even the footsteps, gone. The shadows, still. The figures behind me, silent. It felt like the entire cemetery was waiting. Waiting for something. Then I heard it. A faint sound. From inside the grave. A slow, dragging movement. My heart slammed hard against my chest as I took a step back. Then another. I shook my head, whispering to myself, no, no, no. But the sound continued. Scrape. Scrape. Like nails, against wood. My legs almost gave way beneath me. I wanted to run, but I couldn't stop staring. Something inside me needed to see. Needed to understand. Then the soil began to move again. This time, there was no doubt. It was rising. Pushing upward, as if something underneath was trying to come out. I gasped and stumbled back, nearly falling to the ground. And then, a hand burst through the soil. I screamed. It was pale. Dirty. Twisted. The fingers stretched and clawed at the air. I screamed. It was pale. Dirty. Twisted. The fingers stretched and clawed at the air, shaking as if they were struggling to find strength. I couldn't breathe. Another hand forced its way out of the soil, grabbing onto the ground, pulling, dragging. And then slowly, something began to rise. A head. Covered in dirt. hair hanging in messy strands. My whole body went cold as I watched it lift itself out of the grave, inch by inch. I tried to run. But I couldn't. My legs refused to move. It felt like the ground beneath me had locked me in place, like I was meant to see this, meant to witness it. The figure finally pulled itself halfway out. And then it stopped. Slowly, very slowly, it lifted its head. I felt my heart drop. Because even before I saw the face clearly, I already knew. It was me. My face. My eyes. My mouth. Everything. But wrong. The skin looked lifeless. The eyes were dull, but still open. Still aware. Still looking directly at me. I shook my head violently. No, this is not real, this is not real. But it didn't stop. It kept staring. Then, it smiled. Not a normal smile. A slow, painful stretch of the lips, like it wasn't used to doing it. And then it spoke. With my voice. You took too long. My stomach dropped. What? I whispered, my voice barely coming out. It tilted its head slightly, just like the shadow had done earlier. I've been waiting, it said. Every word sounded heavy, like it was being forced out after a long silence. I tried to step back again. This time, my body responded. I moved. One step. Then another. But as I did, I noticed something that made everything worse. The figures behind me. They were closer now. Much closer. Surrounding me in a circle. Their shapes clearer. Their faces still empty, but all turned toward me. Watching. Waiting. Like they already knew what was going to happen next. I turned back to the grave. The thing that looked like me was pulling itself out completely now. Slowly rising to its feet. Its movements were stiff, unnatural, like it was learning how to stand all over again. Then it took a step toward me. I stepped back. It stepped forward again. I stepped back again. My breathing became fast, uneven, almost painful. Stay away from me, I said, my voice shaking. It didn't stop. It just kept coming. Step by step. Dragging a little. But steady. You came here, it said again, that same broken smile on its face. That means, it's time. Time for what? I shouted, my fear turning into desperation. It stopped walking. Just a few steps away from me. Close enough for me to see every detail of its face. Every crack. Every shadow. Time to switch. My heart skipped. What? I said again, barely able to understand. Before I could react. It moved fast. Too fast. It grabbed my arm. Its touch was freezing. Sharp. Like ice cutting into my skin. I screamed and tried to pull away, but its grip was too strong. And the moment it touched me, everything changed. The cemetery disappeared. The shadows vanished. The figures were gone. Darkness swallowed everything. I couldn't see. I couldn't hear. I couldn't feel my body. Only one thing remained. That voice. Inside my head now. Calm. Clear. You don't belong out there anymore. I tried to fight it. Tried to scream. But nothing came out. Then suddenly, I was standing again. Back in the cemetery. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Everything looked different. Lower. Heavier. I tried to move my hands. Slowly, stiffly, they rose in front of me. Pale. Dirty. Shaking. My breath caught. No, no, no. I turned quickly. And froze. Standing in front of me was myself. Alive. Breathing. Normal. The real me. The one I used to be. They looked terrified. Backing away slowly. Shaking their head. No, this is not happening. I tried to speak. To tell them to run. To warn them. But my mouth wouldn't move the way I wanted. And then, I felt it. A pull. From behind me. Strong. Heavy. Like something was calling me back. Back to the grave. I fought it. But my body began to move on its own. Turning. Step by step. Toward the open grave. No. Stop. I tried to shout. But the words came out wrong. Broken. Not mine anymore. Behind me, I heard my own voice screaming. Begging. Crying. The sound faded as I moved closer to the grave. The soil shifted again, welcoming. Waiting. And just before I was pulled back into the darkness beneath the ground, I noticed one last thing. The gate of the cemetery. It was open. And I, the other me, was running toward it. Escaping. Leaving. taking my place, while I was being pulled down, back into the cold, back into the silence, back into the grave with my name on it. And as the darkness closed over me, I finally understood. The cemetery was never empty. It was waiting. Waiting for someone to walk in alone. Someone to take a place that was already prepared. And now, it has me.